You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion, delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we're celebrating today. We can celebrate. Today's a good one. We can celebrate and enjoy. What do I mean, celebrate and enjoy? Because today is National Sourdough Bread Day. No, I'm not going to San Francisco to get any sourdough bread, although they do make some of the best sourdough bread up there. A little butter on that sourdough bread. Maybe hollow that out and put some chili in there. It's been kind of cold lately. It's not supposed to be getting above, 65 today here in Orange County. So, a little chili, a little clam chowder. Fill that sourdough bread bowl with that. National 1 cent Day. That'd be like twice as much as they have in Washington, D.C. No cents at all. National IEP Writing Day. We've lived with IEPs in our family forever, so we understand the IEP world. So individual education plan. So we get that one. Let's see wait a second. I got to get on my soapbox here. So yesterday, I don't understand this. Maybe somebody can help me. Now, I'm Jewish, so I don't celebrate Easter, although a friend of ours makes a tremendous breakfast for us. So in that sense, yes, I do. Because if there's a meal involved, I'm there. I enjoy it. And she's a tremendous cook. But it was Easter, right? That's a holy day for those who celebrate. And then you get in Washington, the idiots there come up with this national or international transgender day of visibility. Why can't we just be nice to everybody all the time? Why do we have to segregate people and say, well, this is does that mean that the other 364 days of the year we don't see them or anything? I don't get that. Get rid of all this segregation crap and let's get to reality. Let's get to where we can just be civil to one another. Celebrate Easter. It is a religious holiday. I know the president doesn't understand that, but you can't have anything religious on the Easter eggs at the White House Easter egg hunt today. Really? I mean, if you want to celebrate, celebrate. You don't want to celebrate, no harm, no foul. I just don't get this stuff. Why there's got to be something like that for every day. Now, yeah, we celebrate fun stuff on Ron Siegel Radio. Sourdough bread bowl or sourdough bread, right? Who's going to get upset with? Well, I know there's vegans out there that, or not vegans, gluten-freers that are out there that don't have, can't eat that. Sorry, but it's not like it's controversial in any way. I just don't get some of this stuff. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. And I will throw this honoring out there. So I know today is April 1st, and I used to, not anymore, I used to be one that really enjoyed April Fool's Day. I got into the pranks as much as anybody. until 2000, I think it was 2018. Yeah, 2018. Well, my mom died on April 1st, so I miss her every day. So no more April Fools for me. Just a fool here, sitting here in April. But let's move on. Let's see what the markets are doing today. Got to catch up from most of them being closed on Friday. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 277 points. The S&P 500 is down 19. NASDAQ down 24. And oil up $1.11. Yeah, 84.28 is the cost of oil. Should we look at what gasoline is doing? Yeah, $5.11 in California. $5.11 a gallon. What's it going to be by the time we get to Memorial Day when they start bringing in the higher cost summer blend? Well, at least you don't have to worry because there's so many people that aren't going to work. California now, we're number one. Hey, Josh, we're number one now in California. Highest unemployment rate in the country, 5.3%. And the governor is going to try and help that out a little bit because we've got a new law going into effect today. $20 an hour for fast food workers that are now getting laid off and replaced by robots. Think about that. I mean, yes, I do indulge. I went to a McDonald's just recently and nobody working a counter. All it was kiosks. They don't charge $20 an hour. They don't get paid $20 an hour for the kiosk. There's a Starbucks right by us. Can't go in and place an order. All you can do is pick up your drinks. You have to order on their mobile app. Take Jersey Mike's. Yes, I know it's a lot of food places. Whether the law is for fast food restaurants, so I think it was 60 or more units nationwide, $20 an hour minimum wage. Now, that's up from $15 an hour minimum wage. And they say, well, it's not going to affect employment. Really? Pizza Hut laid off 1,000 drivers. Just one group of Pizza Hut stores laid off 1,000 drivers. And you wonder why we've got the highest unemployment rate in the country, 5.3%. Well, as businesses continue to shut down because they can't afford some of these crazy laws that we put into place in California. But hey, we like that stuff because we keep voting for the same people. Let's vote for Chicken Schiff, although I know he's running for Senate and that doesn't affect California law. Let's vote for Newsom, who's running against him or who ran. We had the opportunity of getting rid of him, but we didn't. So we get what we vote for. All these folks, I mean, to me, get rid of every one of them in Sacramento because look what's happening to our state. People are leaving the state, second most only to New York, leaving the state. We've got unemployment, the highest in the country. You got to wonder about some of these things. So it's just craziness in the state of confusion. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, is it easier to find a home to buy now? How to get caught up on past due credit cards and more? Reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's see what's going on in the mortgage world today. Every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, APR. They tell us the number that actually goes into the calculation for your monthly mortgage payment. That would be the interest rate. Looks like every clean sweep last week. And this is going to be from Thursday's numbers, I believe. Friday was the bond market was closed. 30-year loans, 6.731 down. Jumbo loans, 6.931 down. 30-year FHA loans, 6.455 down. USDA loan, 6.45 down. 30-year VA loan. That's the best loan on the market for those that earned it, 6.312. That one was down as well. If you want our market commentary, we share that each morning as early as the data allows. rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. Yeah, we do get that out. It varies by time. I can't tell you exactly when it'll be out, but we put it out as early as the data allows. Sometimes there's reports that come out later than other reports, so it just depends on when that data comes out. So let's take a look at the markets. The S&P 500 is now down 17.81. We'll look at the 10-year Treasury. That's up 13 basis points. Not good news for mortgage rates. The mortgage bond are down 38 basis points, which means interest rates are going up. Should hold right there. It's all technicals. There's not a whole lot of news today. The 10-year Treasury is at 4.33. Broke out from its resistance. Now we're hitting a little bit, hitting the next resistance level. 4.35 is where that is. We're at 4.33 right now, so shouldn't get too much worse than where we are right now on the 10-year Treasury. Let's see what's driving this, if we've got any real data here. Fed Chair Powell made some comments on Friday. So we heard from several of the Fed members last week, again, including Atlanta Fed President Bostic, Fed Governor Waller, Fed Chair Powell. It was clear the Fed wants to be patient on rate cuts and have a slow hand. Powell seemed to have a bit more of a hawkish, that's not favorable, tone than he did at his press conference a few weeks ago when the market believed he would be in favor of a June cut. Powell said that the Fed can and will be careful about the decision to cut rates because they can be. He feels the economy is strong with strong growth, and they can wait to become more confident that inflation is coming down to their 2% target. He also said the possibility of a recession is not elevated now. I will share with you that the Fed has never said there's a chance of a recession, going all the way back to the 80s. And yes, we have had some. As we have covered, it's going to be really hard to get to 2% core inflation. A lot of progress has been made, but getting from 2.8% to 2% will be very difficult, especially when looking at the comparisons from last year and the new monthly readings coming in too hot. For that reason, we don't think inflation is going to get low enough for the Fed to want to cut, and it'll take a higher unemployment rate, like 5.3% in California. On that note, Powell did say that if we see unexpected weakness in the labor market, that could draw a policy response, meaning a rate cut. It will likely take the employment rate to continue to rise to 4% or 4.1 for them to feel the pressure. The market is still pricing in a 66% chance of a 25 basis point, which is 0.25% cut in June. Now we're going to have the jobs report is coming out this week. ADP comes out on Wednesday. BLS comes out on, it looks like they're saying Thursday. Usually it's Friday. Market is expecting 130,000 jobs created in the ADP report, 200,000 in the BLS report. So the market is expecting unemployment to remain at 3.9%. So we'll see about that. Yeah, one area of my notes here, it says the BLS is Thursday, but I think it's going to be on Friday is when that BLS report comes out. That's the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I'm trying to get caught up on some of our reports for you today. We've got a Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. So let's see which one we want to do here. It's how to get caught up on past credit card payments. Easy for me to say. How to get caught up on past due credit card payments. No one wants to fall behind on credit card payments, but life happens. Living expenses creep up. Emergencies happen. Realizing you missed a payment can be nerve-wracking, but catching up gets more complicated the longer you wait. Knowing how to bounce back from mistakes is an important part of managing your credit. As part of National Credit Education Month, we're going to educate you, help you explore some options to catch up on your past due credit card payments. First off, review your budget and spending. Comb through your budget for areas where you can significantly reduce spending. You may be able to free up enough money to make your outstanding payment. Review your previous bank statements too to help you catch unbudgeted spending. Few expenses you can consider cutting. Streaming services. Have you done anything about streaming services? I've been looking at over the last couple of weeks the number of just the streaming services auto pays that I have. I can't believe this. Now, yes, I know Josh takes care of most of this stuff for me. I'm so far in just tracking some of them. I think, Josh, is it right? I'm up to 47 of them. 47 auto pay. I mean, it's nuts. You got to start looking and seeing what can be cut on some of that stuff. You've got streaming services, data storage, snacks, delivery memberships. Okay. Who put this one in the report? Wise guys. Unused gym membership. Who put that one on the report? Now, I am in perfect shape, as long as you consider round a shape. So, unused gym membership. So, we've got some of the most expensive gym memberships in the history of mankind. My in-laws were kind enough to buy my wife and I gym memberships probably 30, 35 years ago. They were really dirt cheap. So I think we pay $9.99 for each of the memberships. And I think they're at LA. See, I don't even know where they're at because I don't go. LA Fitness. Now, let's just say that they're 30 years at $120 a year. Is that $3,600? I think it's $3,600. 120 times at $3,600. Now you divide that out and say, okay, $3,620. I think it's costing me about $1,000 per visit. Not a good deal. So those cheap memberships, not as cheap as you want to think they are. So just do a little math on some of these things and see if they make sense to you. So the gym membership, food delivery. I know it's hard to get in the car and drive over and pick up that food if you're doing it or eating at home. If you can't squeeze any more money from your budget and your minimum payment is more than you can afford, you may want to revisit your budget or explore other options to help you catch up with your missed payments. In any case, you should act quickly. Your minimum payment increases each month you're late. After 6 payments, your balance will be charged off and due in full. Go make some extra money. Consider picking up a side gig in your spare time. For example, food or grocery delivery is an option if you have reliable transportation. Many pay an hourly wage plus tips from customers. Offering services is another option. Babysitting, dog walking, tutoring, organizing, and errand running are examples of ways you can make some extra cash. You may have family, friends, and neighbors who need your services or can refer you to others. Get paid sooner if your next due date is right before payday. Early direct deposit may help you avoid a missed payment. With early direct deposit, your bank adds eligible deposits to your account 2 days before the check actually clears. For instance, you normally get paid on Friday. Your direct deposit will be available on Wednesday. Check with your bank for details on enrollment. Early direct deposit won't help in every situation, but if having your paycheck a couple days early will get you back on track, it's worth exploring. Consolidate balances. By consolidating past due balances, you can bring your accounts current and possibly simplify your balances, making them easier to repay. Options for consolidating your balances include balance transfer credit card, debt consolidation loan, or home equity loan. Be mindful of timing if you're considering a balance transfer, since the transfer can take several days or weeks to finalize. If you're near 6 months past due, your account could be charged off before the transfer is complete. Contact your creditors. Reach out to your credit cards customer service to let them know your current challenges. Ask for options to help you get caught up again. You may be able to have fees waived, your monthly payment reduced, or have payments suspended for a few months. Working with a third-party credit counseling agency is an option, but you'll have to stop using all your credit cards while you're in the program. The benefit is that you keep your account from becoming more delinquent, prevent additional late fees, and stop calls and text messages from the collections department. Timing is critical. If you've missed a couple payments, you still have time to catch up and minimize the negative effect to your FICO score. Catching up won't remove the previous late payments from your credit card, but it may allow you to stabilize and start rebuilding your credit. Once you're back on track, aim to pay your balance in full each month. That way you'll have one less payment to worry about when your finances are stretched. Remember, rsrccpayment.com. rsrccpayment.com. Pay your credit cards the right way. And I would tell you still, 95% of the people I talk to are not paying them the right way. Even those people who are paying them in full every month are not paying them the right way for FICO scoring purposes. rsrccpayment.com. rsrccpayment.com. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, is it easier to find a home to buy now? Is it the best week to list your house is almost here? In 5 tips to help you manage multiple credit cards and protect your FICO scores. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Let's take a look and see it. Is it easier to find a home to buy now? One of the biggest hurdles buyers have faced over the past few years has been a lack of homes available for sale, but that's starting to change. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're seeing a chart. So from Realtor.com show there are more homes on the market in 2024 than there have been in any of the past several years, 2021 through 2023. And I think it's with the exception of 2021, 23. Interesting. Take a look at this. Does that mean finding a home is easier? The answer is yes and no. As an article on Realtor.com says, quote, there were nearly 15% more homes for sale in February than a year earlier. That alone could jolt the housing market a bit if more, quote unquote, for sale signs continue to appear. However, the nation is still suffering from a housing shortage, even with all of that new inventory, unquote. Context is important. On the one hand, inventory is up over the past few years. That means you'll likely have more options to choose from as you search for your next home. But at the same time, the graph also shows there are still significantly fewer homes for sale than there were usually be in a more normal pre-pandemic market. And that deficit isn't going to be reversed overnight. What does that mean for you? You might find a few more choices now than in recent years, but you shouldn't expect a ton of options. To help you explore the growing list of choices you have now, team up with a local real estate agent you trust. They can really help you understand the inventory situation where you want to buy. That's because real estate is local. An experienced agent can share some smart tips they've used to help other buyers in your area dealing with ongoing low housing supply. Bottom line, if you're thinking about buying a home, let's team up. That way you'll be up to date on everything that could affect your home, including how many homes are for sale right now. That is the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Now, remember when we talk about some of these things that all real estate is local. And you need to understand when you're talking about these things, what are the numbers in your area? What's legitimately going on? And when they talk about real estate, the number of homes for sale being up, is that meaningful? Does it mean anything at all? So you can go and find out your city, your zip code by simply going to rsrlistana.com, rsrlistana.com. Our friends over at Altos Research will get you a listing or data on your zip code. So I just happened to pull up 4 or 5 zip codes. And when you look at some of these zip codes, yes, the inventory might be up, but what does that mean? So last week, on the 22nd of March, 92807, one of the Anaheim Hills zip codes, had 14 houses for sale. That went up now to 15. So does that mean that there's a lot more houses for sale? Well, 10% more. Still nothing on the market, though. So it doesn't tell you a heck of a lot right there. Let's look at 92808, the other zip code in Anaheim. Oh, wait. That one went from 6 to 5. So no inventory. Yorba Linda, California. Let's take a look at that one. That one went from 33 to 37, up 10%, but still nothing to talk about. One of my favorite cities out there in the market, La Quinta. So that was at 312. It went to 308. Again, not a lot of inventory out there. Let's take a look at one more, Palm Desert. That one has 123 homes for sale. It was 125. So you can see right there, not a lot of inventory for sale. No matter what they want to tell you, there's not a lot out there. So you need to understand how do you deal with these things? How do you get the homes that you want? It's called strategy. And my whole career in real estate, I've been talking about this. Strategy beats rate always. Strategy beats rate always. A lot of people don't want to understand that, but it is a big issue. Strategy beats rate always. What is it? What do I mean by that? Well, there are strategies out there. It's called the perfect offer. You can go to rsrperfectoffer.com, rsrperfectoffer.com, and you'll be able to find out how do you make an offer that actually wins. What does the seller want? That's what you need to look at. What does the seller want? Well, we know what the seller wants. Money. So what if you go out there and in the perfect offer, what we do is we look at the zip code and we say, okay, what's the appreciation rate for that specific zip code? It doesn't matter what the city is, what the state is, what the federal appreciation is. In that specific zip code, what is the appreciation rate? Now, what if we were to say to the seller, let's give the seller 3 months worth of appreciation going forward. So let's just say that the property is listed for $1 million and it's a 5% appreciation. We're going to add $15,000 to the price. That's part of the perfect offer, rsrperfectoffer.com, rsrperfectoffer.com. Now you say, okay, but Ron, what if I can't afford that payment? Because interest rates are high. They went up a little bit today. Well, what if we say, okay, we added 15,000, let's add another 30,000. And we're going to offer $1,045,000 for that property and say to the seller, you know something, we added 45,000 to what you're already asking for. Will you give us 30,000 of that toward buying down our interest rate? Call it payment assistance, not a 3-2-1 buy down, not a 2-1 buy down, because those don't help you qualify for anything. You need a full 30-year permanent buy down. And you use that extra $30,000 or $35,000 to buy down the interest rate. You may be able to buy down the interest rate as much as 1.5%, maybe. Sometimes I've seen it. So think about that. And I'm not quoting any rates. I'm not offering you anything specific. I'm just taking what the optimal blue OBMMI rate was for Thursday, close of market. This is what they locked at on Thursday. 6.73. 6.731. And that was for the 29th. Is that Thursday or Friday? Might have been Friday. Yes, that was actually Friday's numbers. Okay, so they did put out a Friday report. So let's just say 6.731. What if you take and you can reduce that by 1.5%? That would be call it 5.25. 5.5. Helps you afford that payment that you've overpaid, knowingly overpaid. And we can even put into our tools that we have at the Siegel Lending Team. We can put in there and say, okay, you're paying $1,045,000 for a property that's listed at $1 million. We can look at that historically and say, okay, how long does it take to get to the break-even point so we have our $45,000 back? Well, if you're thinking about 5%, that math is pretty easy on that one, because that's basically a year. It's a little under a year to be break even. Now, we have had a chart that we've shared many, many times, and I don't know if we have it available, but we have a chart that we've shared that shows over the last, 70 years, something like that, how many times in a 10-year span real estate values have gone down. So what does that mean? You buy the property, say in 2024, by 2034, how many times would that property have gone down in value? Not very many. I think the number, when I looked at it last time, when we put it up on the screen last time, I think the number is 1. One time the property went down in value over the last 30 or 40 or 50 years, as to, I think it goes back to 1940, is how many times the property has gone down over that time period. It hasn't happened. Now, I'm not making guarantees. We don't make guarantees on Ron Siegel Radio because we don't control everything. But I am telling you that historically, it just doesn't happen. In fact, I just found the chart here. showing me these numbers. 2006 was the only time in a 10-year span. So 2006 to 2016, if you bought in 2006 and 2016, you were down 3%. Okay, not a big deal. But if you bought in 2013, you were up 105% by 2023. So just think about that. Going all the way back to 1942 is where these numbers go to. So the idea here is if you have to buy, and in order to get, and Josh just put this up on the screen for us. Thanks, Josh. So if you have to buy a property and pay more to get the property today, and you know that you're only giving up a year's worth of appreciation. I'm going to tell you right now, if you buy down that interest rate by a point or point and a half, your numbers are going to go spectacularly in your favor because the amount of money that you save in interest. So the most important number, most people like to negotiate the price of property. And when they're negotiating a real estate price, they're negotiating the wrong number. They'd be much better off negotiating an interest rate. Because when you negotiate the interest rate, that affects your payments. That affects the amount of money coming out of your pocket. Now, look at when you take your total cost and we talk about affordability. What is affordability on real estate? Real estate affordability is composed of three different things: the price of the property, the interest rate, and your income. Well, if the interest rate is lower, that's the most important part to help you in the affordability factor. You got to get into that part of it. You got to look at that. It's very, very important to you. And then you see this chart that Josh has on the screen for us, and it shows the only year is 2006. The property real estate didn't appreciate over a 10-year period. How long are you planning on being in your house? Now, if you're looking at selling in a year, well, this strategy may not be the right one for you. But if you're thinking about 5, 10 years, which 10 years now is about the norm, this is a perfect strategy because remember, strategy beats rate always. Strategy beats rate always. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the best week to list your house is almost here. 5 tips to help you manage multiple credit cards and protect your FICO score. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by rsrdebtfree.com, rsrdebtfree.com. Do you have unsecured debts that you cannot pay off within the next 2 to 3 months? If so, rsrdebtfree.com. Could be that it might be beneficial to take a look at a debt consolidation loan that's using up some of your equity out of your property. Debt consolidation loan. Could be that you need to take a look at debt resolution, to have get a professional to negotiate with your creditors to help you get those debts in line where you can actually afford them. Probably won't, if you've got over $10,000, $20,000 in debts, probably won't get that paid off in 2 or 3 months. But if you're making minimum payments, you're looking at about 300 years. Yeah, I know I said it, because at 30% interest, every 2 and a fraction years, your credit cards double. Every 2 and a fraction years, they double. And if you're only making minimum payments, you're not getting anywhere on that. So the debt resolution might be the solution for you. I don't know, but it could be the solution for you. But let's take a look at 5 tips to help you manage multiple credit cards and protect your FICO scores. It's easy to wind up with a stack of credit cards over time. The average American has 3.84 credit cards, according to Experian data, and some credit card rewards enthusiasts have many more. Perhaps you opened a few cards along the way to earn different sign-up bonuses. Or maybe you were attracted to several credit cards thanks to the rewards or cash back the accounts offer. You might even have some extra credit cards in your wallet thanks to 0% APR promotions the card issuer offered. In truth, there's no such thing as the perfect number of credit cards. But whatever the reason you opened your accounts in the first place, when you have several credit cards, it's important to use them in a responsible manner. Whether you have one credit card or many, how you handle those accounts can have a meaningful impact on your FICO scores. We're going to give you 5 helpful tips to help you use multiple credit cards like a pro. You'll also find what to keep in mind with regards to your FICO scores when you have more than one credit card in your wallet. Number 1, set up a budget. One of the first steps to managing multiple credit cards, indeed to managing your finances in general, is to create a budget. In simple terms, a budget is a plan for how you'll spend and save the income you earn. Before you use credit cards, it's important to know how much you can afford to spend each month. The reason knowing this information matters is because the best way to manage credit cards, whether you have one account or many, is to pay off your entire statement balance each month before the statement comes out. Setting a spending limit ahead of time, also known as a budget, makes it easier to accomplish this goal. We'll show you exactly how to pay your credit card bills in rsrccpayment.com, rsrccpayment.com. Like RSR credit card, but rsrccpayment.com. Tip: you don't need to carry credit card balances to improve your FICO score. That's a myth. Number 2, keep track of spending. Once you establish a budget, it's important to stay on top of your expenses and purchases throughout the month. Otherwise, you risk overspending and building debt, especially where credit cards are concerned. There are numerous ways to track spending. Personal finance apps make it easy to keep tabs on your finances from a smartphone or computer, and some can even help you budget with a partner. If you prefer, you can use a simple spreadsheet to avoid overspending and check your credit card balances multiple times a week to stay on track with your financial goals. Keeping track of how much you spend can help you stay on track with utilization, which impacts your FICO scores. If you charge more on your credit cards than you can afford to pay off each month, your credit utilization ratio, the percentage of your credit card limits in use, may increase. The higher your credit utilization ratio grows, the worse the impact tends to be on your FICO scores. But if you're careful to avoid overspending and keep your credit utilization ratio low, your FICO scores might benefit. Number 3, Schedule automatic payments. RSRCCpayment.com. We talk about that. RSRCCpayment.com. Another tip that could make it easier to handle several credit cards at once is to set up auto pay on your account. Scheduling automatic payments, at least for the minimum amount due, can help you avoid missing due dates due to accidental oversights. If you're comfortable doing so, consider scheduling automatic drafts for the full statement balance on each credit card. This strategy should ensure that you never pay interest on charges on your credit cards, and you don't have to worry about the consequences of late payments either. Number 4, set up account alerts. Most credit card issuers let you schedule account alerts to inform you when certain activities take place on your credit card account. These alerts might include notifications such as your payment due date is approaching, a transaction above a certain amount of your choosing post your account, your balance exceeds a certain amount of your choosing. Receiving a text or email alert could be a great way to remind yourself to take action, if necessary, when specific actions occur on your credit card. Number 5, monitor your FICO scores. Cleanall3.com. Cleanall3.com is a great way to monitor your FICO score. It's always important to keep an eye on your FICO scores and your credit reports. Yet, when you have multiple credit cards, monitoring your credit health may be even more critical than usual. At a minimum, you should aim to check your credit reports and ideally your FICO scores once a quarter. Checking your credit details every month at the same time you look over your credit card statements for accuracy is probably best. When you have more accounts on your credit report, there are more opportunities for credit card fraud and credit recording mistakes to occur. Unfortunately, if an error appears on your credit report, it could have a negative impact on your credit score and make you appear like a higher risk borrower, no matter who is at fault. To make matters worse, negative items on your credit report, even if they're mistakes, and low FICO scores could make it more difficult to qualify for financing and competitive interest rates. If you do discover a mistake on your credit report, the Fair Credit Reporting Act empowers you to take action. You can dispute credit errors with the appropriate credit reporting agencies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Bottom line, managing multiple credit cards the right way requires consistent effort, but the benefits of a good FICO score and the perks that well-maintained credit cards accounts can offer you make the hard work well worth it in the end. That is the Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by RSRDebtFree.com, RSRDebtFree.com. And remember, again, like I've shared with you before, if you have more debts than you can pay off in the next 2 to 3 months, very important, solve the problem. Don't put your head in the sand. You can check into a home debt consolidation loan. Might be the right answer, maybe not. Or you can check into debt resolution. That might be the right answer, maybe not. If you don't check, you don't know. Just throw that out there for you. Are we getting into the right time to sell a house? Real-time real estate segment brought to you by RSRmoney.com. RSRmoney.com. The best week to list your house is almost here. Are you thinking about making a move? If so, now may be the perfect time to start the process. That's because experts say the best week to list your house is just around the corner. A recent Realtor.com study looked at housing market trends over the past several years, with the exception of 2020, since it was an unusual year, and found the best week to put your house on the market this year is April 14 to 20. Quote, every year, 1 week stands out from the rest as that perfect stretch of time when it's great to be a home seller. This year, the week of April 14 to 20 is the best time to sell. That is, if sellers want to see lots of interest in their homes, sell quickly and pocket some extra cash, according to Realtor.com data, unquote. Here's why it matters for you. While the spring market is a great time to sell no matter the week, this may be the peak sweet spot. And if you've been putting your plans on the back burner and waiting for the right time to act, this could be the nudge you need to make your move happen. As Hannah Jones, Senior Economic Research Analyst at Realtor.com explains, quote, the third week of April brings the best combination of housing market factors for sellers. The best week offers higher buyer demand, lower competition from other sellers, and fewer price reductions than the typical week of the year, unquote. But if you want to get in on the action, you need to move quickly and lean on the pros. Your local real estate agent is the perfect go-to when it comes to figuring out a plan to prep your house and get it on the market. They'll be able to help offer advice to balance your target listing date with what you need to do from a repair and renovation standpoint. And they can walk you through exactly how to prioritize your list so you know what to tackle first. For example, if your house is already in good shape, you'll be able to really focus on smaller things that are easy to do and make a big impact. As an article from Investopedia says, quote, you don't have time for any major renovations, so focus on quick repairs to address things that could deter potential buyers, unquote. Here are some specific examples from that article. The number of homes for sale, you can see that on the chart, according to Realtor.com. Just remember, even if you're not ready to list within the next couple of weeks, that's okay. The window of opportunity doesn't close when this week ends. Spring is the peak home buying season, and it's still a seller's market, so you'll be in the driver's seat all season long. Bottom line, ready to get the ball rolling? Let's connect. Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, we're here to help you. That is the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.